There's a little bit of confusion when rounding decimals, but there really shouldn't be because it's the exact same principles apply as rounding whole numbers. Nothing really changes with it. The only thing we need to be aware of really is the difference in place value. Now, for starters, we know that everything to the left of the decimal is in fact a whole number, whereas everything to the right of the decimal is a part of a number. Now, when we take a look at this, we can say, all right, first of all, let's identify the different place values that are represented. So in this case, if we were to erase this and create our columns, we can see that right here we have our tens, we have our ones, and then here we have our tenths, our hundredths, and we have our thousandths with a THS at the end. All right, cool. Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to round to the nearest tenth. So the exact same principle applies. First, we identify our tenths column. So the question that we need to know is this going to be rounded to 21.6, or is it going to be rounded to 21.7? Well, if we remember back, we remember that 4 or less, it stays down. 5 or more, it goes up. So what we do is we ask his friend to the right, are you 5 or more or 4 or less? And in this case, it's clearly 4 or less. So therefore, this is going to round to 21.6, or 21 6/10. Now, a lot of students will write this out in a different way. They would write it out as 21.600. This is also correct. However, there's just no need to add in the zeros because it really doesn't change the value at all. It doesn't change the value at all. So it's the exact same thing as saying 21 600 thousandths is the same as saying 21 6/10. The exact same thing. Let's move on to the hundredths here. So let's identify our hundredths column. We're going to determine whether or not this is going to round up or stay at the same. So the question is, does this become 21.62 or 21.63 or 21 63 hundredths? All right, let's take a look. Well, he's got 2 right here. We move over to thousandths. Hey, are you 4 or less or 5 or more? Hey, I'm clearly 5 or more. So therefore, this is going to round up, and our tally is going to be 21.63. Now, this is where the students really get themselves confused for some reason, is when they want to round to the nearest ones. And this can be a little bit confusing because we are in fact going to be taking off the decimals. We're not going to be using any kind of parts of numbers here. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify the ones column, and we're simply going to ask his friend to the right, are you 4 or less or 5 or more? And in this case, he is 5 or more. So this number here will now round up to 22. Now, if you wrote it as 22.000, this is the exact same thing as saying 22. We just don't need to add to write in all those zeros. It's just they don't change the value of anything.